been? I'm feeling better from the last one, and well, one of the things that I wanted to talk to a little bit about, you go to Mother's Day Out program at a place in town, and we didn't really want to call it that for you because we wanted to get you where you were kind of used to the idea of going to school. And so we just say that you're going to school. You go there 4 hours right now, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so that's kind of your first introduction to school, because they're teaching you colors and shapes and letters and things like that. And I've been thinking a little bit about when I first started going to school, in the first school that I went to. So this would have been in Illinois. And I can't remember if I did like a preschool and kindergarten or first grade or what, but I know it was at least kindergarten. It probably was preschool. I can't really remember. Anyway, so the first school that I went to was Franklin Elementary School, and it was named after Benjamin Franklin. And it was kind of a weird school in a way, because if you looked at the school, it's kind of V-shaped, not quite Y-shaped, so you had like two sections. And I've been trying to find pictures. The sad thing is that school is closed down, and but I'll try to put a picture so that you can see. But it's kind of like V-shaped, and in the middle you had one side, and then you had like the other grades on the other side, and then the cafeteria was kind of in the middle. But the weird thing about the school was that it was kind of built on a hill. So if you look at the front of it, it looks like it's all flat. But to get to the auditorium, it was actually down below the school, kind of like built into the hill. So it was kind of really weird for the school. But yeah, we were the Franklin Bobcats, and the colors were blue and white. And I've been looking for the mascot and colors and all that stuff too. The bad part about it is like I said, the school closed down. I'm not even sure how long ago. And so finding stuff for the school, like pictures of the mascots and stuff like that, I haven't really been able to find anything, but I do have a picture at the house, and I don't have very many pictures of growing up or any of the stuff that I did when I was in the Army or anything like that, because when my parents split, my dad kept some of the stuff, and my mom had some of it, and then it got lost over time and stuff for pictures when I was in the Army. I used to have all kinds of cool videos of stuff getting blown up and things like that, but I had computers die and the stuff would be on hard drives and you'd just lose all this stuff. But so I know I went to the school for at least kindergarten, first grade, and was she first grade or second grade teacher was Miss Fields with an S. And so everybody kind of talked about that, but you know, our last name has no S. But yeah, I remember her. And like what grade would it have been? I went there up into part of the second grade, and then around that time is when my parents got divorced. Or no, this is before the divorce. Around that time, my dad got a job, and we moved down to Arkansas for a little bit. So I went there, like I said, at least kindergarten, first grade, part of second grade. And we used to live, at one point, we lived right behind the school, and there was a railroad track that ran right next to the school, too. And even like our house, it was like the railroad track, the road, and then the front yard to the house. And so, like I was saying, how it was built on the hill and everything, there was like this big set of stairways that went down into where like the boiler room for the heating system was. And so it was just like, someone said it was like an old coal chute or something. It was just concrete that went down with a set of stairs coming down to one side. So us being the lovely kids that we were, G.I. Joes were the big thing. And so you had your little G.I. Joe action figure. And, you know, we were inspiring, innovative young men. And so what we would do is we would take our GI Joes, and we found the parachutes. You had the little parachute trooper guys, like little green army men. You'd throw them up in the air, and they'd have the little plastic parachute. They would float down. So what we would do is we would take that parachute, like tape it to a GI Joe, then tape a firecracker to it, and light the firecracker, and throw them down in this pit-like thing. They would go down, be floating down, boom, blow up. And then, you know, after we did that for a little bit, we would go pick up all the pieces of the GI Joes, and then all they had was a little screw on the back of them, and then you could just put them all back together. So we would blow them up, take them apart, put them back together, put different legs or different bodies on them and stuff like that. There was also on the other side, there was like this little ledge that you could, like, there was like a handrail bar type thing that you could swing and drop like 4 or 5 feet or something like that if you were brave enough to do it back then. And then this got me thinking about like some of the other stuff. I remember like nap times and getting milk and all that other stuff like that you used to get. But it like, thinking about it, I started thinking about some stuff that I haven't thought about in a very, very long time. And so, it made me think about, you know, I remember being in school, and we used to have the Space Shuttle program. And so that was how the astronauts used to get up into space and go to the space station, or they would go up there and like launch new satellites or do all these cool experiments and things like that. And I was looking at it a little bit today, but in the early 80s is when the Space Shuttle program first started and everything. And to get people interested, kind of like some of the stuff that they're doing now with like STEM, you know, like science, technology, engineering, and math. One of the ideas that was floated is, why don't we get a teacher to go to space? And I think it was called Teachers in Space program or something, but a teacher could do this whole thing, and they did a whole contest, and a teacher was selected to go up into space. And the whole thing about it is they would come back and they would, you know, talk about their experience of being in space. They weren't officially an astronaut at the time, and so they were considered a payload specialist, but they were going to go up with the crew and everything like that. Well, they would be trained as an astronaut. Then they would go up with the crew, do their stuff, and then come back, and it would be a whole big thing. And so I remember around that time, so this was 85-ish or so, there was a whole big deal about, you know, a teacher was selected, she's going to go up in the space shuttle, and everybody is, you know, it's going to be this whole big thing for America and the school system and getting people into the sciences and things like that. And I forget the date right now, but it was in January of 86, so I'd have been just about 5, I believe. No, I was like 4.5 or something like that. Yeah, like 4 and a little over 4. But I remember being in school, and I have to put a picture of one of these because a lot of people won't understand this. Back in the day when they wanted stuff done, like if they were showing a video or something like that at school, they had this like big cart type thing, and the TV would be on top of it, and then like a VCR, but they would have like a cable like running up into the wall. And so it was a whole big deal. We were going to watch the space shuttle take off, and you know, the teacher that was selected was going to go up and everything. So it was a huge deal in school back then. And so this is all happening right around 11 o'clock-ish is when they start showing everything. And yeah, so the thing that I'm talking about, some people will know, other people won't, but it was the Challenger Space Shuttle. And so they wheel it in, the TV. We're all sitting there like, oh, it was so cool getting to watch the space shuttle take off and go through the sky. And shortly after it took up, it just blew up into a big ball of fire. And everybody was like, what just happened? And then the teacher was like, okay, and just like walked off and turned the TV off and like pushed it off. And that was all that was said about that. Okay, I'm gonna have to try to cut this in. If I can figure out how to do it, I'll add this. I just forgot. So I was talking about the space shuttle, and something crazy happened with the space shuttle with me later in life, and it was something that I never knew. So I don't remember when it was, but I was at Fort Bliss, and at Fort Bliss you had Fort Bliss, and it used to be called Biggs Army Airfield, and they were separated by a road, but there was this bridge that went over it that said something like, "It's a great day to be a soldier at Fort Bliss." And I found a picture of that, so if I can get all this to work, I'll put that in there too. And so if you look at the picture that I want to put on there, on the left hand side would be Fort Bliss, on the right hand side was Biggs Army Airfield. Well, I don't remember what was going on, but I had to go from one side to the other. And so you would like come down the road, and it like S-turned like this, and then came back, and then you went up and over the bridge. And when you did that, you could see the very edge of the airfield there at Biggs Army Airfield. And so I'm just going around, I go to make the turn, I look over, and I see a space shuttle on top of an airplane. And I'm like, what is that? And I was like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And I'm like, yeah, there's a space shuttle on top of the airplane. And so, come to find out, I can put pictures of this up too. There's like one 747 that if they need to transport the space shuttles, they just put it on top of the airplane and then they fly it. Well, they stopped there at Biggs Army Airfield because it was big enough for them to land and take off, but they were, I can't remember if this was the whole time when they were decommissioning the space shuttles and they were deciding, you know, they were going to different places and things like that. I can't remember if it's that time or what was going on, but I might have been the Endeavor. I don't know. I really couldn't see because it was just one of those things that happened so fast. You like look over and like, is that a space shuttle on an airplane? Like, but yeah. So that was something cool to see. Like I said, I was thinking about this. Then I normally try to do all this in one take. I forgot. And I was just realizing, oh man, I forgot about this, but this would be so cool to add. So if I can figure out how to add this to what I was talking about before, I'll add it. If not, I guess I'll have to tell the story another time. And if we want to say like forgotten childhood traumas, around that same time or somewhere in this time period of the first few years of school for me, I want to say we took a trip, like a field trip to Silver Dollar City. It was an amusement park or something. I don't remember the trip. I don't remember going there. All I remember is we have one of the big like touring vans or buses, and it had the bathroom on it, and I needed to pee or something, and I went to the bathroom, and something happened with the lock, and I got locked into the bathroom and spent most of the ride riding in the bathroom because the bus driver couldn't stop to come fix the door so I could get out. So yeah, I'd forgotten all about that until like almost earlier today while I was thinking about what I would talk about for this video for you. So yeah, it's great thinking about early childhood and some dumb stuff that you did and things like that, and then realizing, oh God, there's forgotten trauma there. But it's that'll be things that happen with everybody. Stuff will happen. You'll forget all about it, and then you'll be thinking about something dumb, or something will happen and you'll get triggered and you'll be like, oh man, I remember when this happened so long ago. But it is kind of funny to think about getting locked in a bathroom and riding in it for a few hours. So with that, I'm just going to say, I love you, Finn. Bye till next time.